Have you ever pondered why people begin to desire you only when you no longer want them? Is this some cosmic trick, or one of the deepest secrets of human nature? Stay tuned to uncover the answer. In the realm of relationships, there's something peculiar about the workings of our minds. It's as if there's a paradox. The more we yearn for something, the less likely we are to obtain it. Conversely, when we release our grip and stop pursuing it with such intensity, it starts to draw nearer to us, as if our longing pushes it away in its absence. This dynamic isn't merely a quirk of human interactions. It reflects deeper principles observed in nature and discussed by ancient philosophers. It's as though the universe is testing our self-control and our ability to detach from our desires. We don't chase after it. We wait, we observe, and when the moment is right, we act with precision and purpose. The lion's strength lies not only in its physical prowess, but also in knowing when to act and when to remain still. Similarly, by ceasing the chase, we regain control. We can learn from the lion to become more patient, balanced, and masterful over our desires. But why does this happen? Why do they want us when we're no longer interested? The answer lies in fundamental principles of human psychology that the Stoics understood and explained long ago. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we stop reacting with desperation or desire, we completely alter the dynamics of the interaction. We shift from being the follower to being followed. When we truly embrace indifference, genuinely not caring whether someone wants us or not, we create a space for self-respect and dignity to flourish. It's not vanity or a game. It's genuine detachment, a release of the need to control or possess. When you're indifferent, you're unaffected by others' moods or interests, and it's precisely this state that makes you most attractive. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When you're not dependent on others' likes or dislikes, on their attention or affection, you become an irresistible force. This inner strength, this quiet confidence is truly alluring. Let's delve deeper with an example. Imagine someone who constantly seeks approval and love from others, always texting, needing reassurance, always available. What message does this send? It reveals a lack of self-esteem and confidence, making you appear needy, which isn't an appealing image. Now imagine the opposite. Someone who is calm, composed, doesn't chase, doesn't seek approval. This person is confident and self-assured. It's precisely this confidence that attracts others. The key is to avoid playing games, manipulation, and deception. Instead, focus on developing true self-control and indifference. It's not about pretending not to care, but genuinely not caring. It's about understanding that your worth isn't determined by others' interest in you. This is the essence of Stoicism, the idea that true power comes from within, from your own mind and actions, not from others' approval or love. So, when you feel someone's interest waning, don't chase them. Don't fall into the trap of thinking you need to do more or be more to regain their attention. Instead, take a step back. Embrace the power of indifference and focus on your own growth and peace. Don't try to control the situation. When you stop trying to control everything, you find yourself. As Seneca wisely said, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Don't worry about whether they'll come back or if their interest will rekindle. Instead, focus on the present moment and live honorably with self-respect. And the very thing you stopped pursuing may start coming toward you. This is the first sign that they want you when you're no longer interested. It's not about manipulation or playing hard to get. It's about cultivating genuine Stoic indifference, finding your power within yourself, and letting go of the need for external approval. When you do this, you become a person with a true sense of self. You don't chase after things because you know that what is meant for you will find you in its own time. We often think we can control everything: our relationships, our circumstances, even others' actions. However, the Stoics taught us that true power comes not from trying to control things, but from learning to let go. This brings us to the second proof that when you no longer want them, they want you. The power that comes from releasing control. Imagine someone trying to control every aspect of a relationship, constantly wondering what the other person is thinking, what they're doing, whether they're losing interest. This person might try to influence the other person's feelings or steer the relationship in a direction that suits their desires. But in doing so, they make what they want more difficult to achieve and worsen their own well-being. On the other hand, consider someone who understands that control is an illusion. This person knows they can't make someone else feel or behave in a certain way. They don't manipulate or coerce. Instead, they focus on what they can control: their own actions, feelings, and reactions. When you stop trying to control others, you free yourself from worrying about them. You can focus on yourself. This approach not only feels better, but is also an excellent way to live more freely. When we stop fighting against the flow or trying to control it, and instead live in harmony with life's natural rhythms, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, new experiences, and new ways of connecting with others. Interestingly, when we let go, we may find that others are drawn to us and desire us more. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Focus on what you can control, your own thoughts and actions, and let go of the rest. You become a strong, calm, and peaceful person. This inner peace is what others find so attractive. Think of a river. The river doesn't fight the rocks in its path. It flows around and over them, finding the path of least resistance. In doing so, it shapes the landscape, carving valleys and canyons, creating beauty and life. Similarly, when we let go of control, we transform ourselves. We can learn from the river. We should flow in harmony with life, not resist it. We can shape our destiny through acceptance, not resistance. This brings us to practical application, the art of letting go. When you feel someone's interest fading, don't chase after them. Don't try to force them back. Instead, let go and focus on your own life, your goals, and personal development. Trust that things will work out and that you can find happiness without controlling every detail. It's not about surrendering or giving up hope. It's about understanding your limitations and embracing the freedom that letting go brings. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When you stop trying to control everything, it becomes easier to accomplish things. Let life flow naturally, and you'll often find that what you were trying to control comes to you effortlessly. So, when you no longer want them, the way to realize that they want you is to let go. When you release and stop trying to control what you can't, you create space for genuine connection, genuine attraction, and genuine love. You become a strong and serene person, unaffected by what others think, confident in your own abilities. It's this strength and tranquility that others find most appealing. One of the Stoics' greatest understandings is that true strength and fulfillment come from internal sources, not external ones. This idea is proof that they want you when you no longer want them. The magnetic power of self-sufficiency. Think of someone who is always seeking approval from others. You see that their happiness, self-worth, and even their entire existence depend on others' opinions and love. Such a person drifts in a sea of uncertainty like a ship without a rudder. They are dependent on external validation. They are needy and desperate for attention. This desperation drives others away. Contrast this with someone who is self-sufficient. This person is not dependent on others for happiness or self-worth. They are self-reliant, content with themselves and what they have. They go about life with quiet confidence, knowing they are complete without needing anyone else. This completeness makes them extremely attractive. There is a strong, almost magnetic force that comes from self-sufficiency. As Seneca said, the greatest wealth is a poverty of desires. A wise person is content with what they have, no matter the circumstances. When you develop self-sufficiency, you embody this wisdom. You are happy with your life and don't need others' approval to feel complete. When you are in this state of fulfillment, you attract others to you, not because you need them, but because they are drawn to your strength, confidence, and independence. Imagine a tree in a storm. A tree with shallow roots is blown away by the wind. But a strong tree with deep roots stands tall no matter what the storm brings. It doesn't need support from others. Its strength comes from its deep roots. Similarly, when you focus on your strengths and become self-sufficient, you become resilient and unshakable. One of the key strategies for developing self-sufficiency is to focus on your own growth and development. When you feel someone's interest waning, don't try to win them back by focusing on their needs or wants. Instead, focus on yourself, on becoming the best version of yourself, on developing your skills, knowledge, and character. The more you invest in yourself, the less you need others, and the more attractive you become. In Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, he often discusses the importance of self-sufficiency and self-development. Your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought, he writes. When you focus on your own growth and adopt a mindset of self-sufficiency, you create a vibrant, powerful, and attractive inner world. Your inner strength naturally attracts others to you, not because you need them, but because they are drawn to the strength and confidence radiating from within you. But being self-sufficient isn't just about personal growth. It's also about accepting that you are complete just as you are. You don't need someone else to fill a void in your life because there is no void to fill. You are whole and complete. When you let go, everything changes. You shift from someone who needs others to someone others are drawn to. The way to understand that they want you when you no longer want them is to observe the magnetic force of self-sufficiency. When you develop this quality, you become someone who is not dependent on the love or approval of others. You become complete, confident, and happy within yourself. This self-sufficiency and quiet strength are what others find most attractive. They are attracted to you not because you are seeking them, but because they desire the qualities you possess. The human heart holds a paradox that has puzzled thinkers, philosophers, and poets for centuries. The paradox of desire. The more you want something, the less likely you are to get it. But when we relinquish this intense desire, when we stop clinging to it, it often comes to us spontaneously. This exemplifies how, when you don't want them, they want you. The paradox of desire can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it motivates us, gives us strength, and helps us achieve our goals. On the other hand, when you direct your desire toward another person, it can become suffocating, consuming, and ultimately repulsive. The Stoics understood this well and taught that the key to living a peaceful, fulfilling life was to control our desires and want less. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is secured not by the fulfilling of men's desires, but by the removal of desire." The freedom referred to here is not just physical freedom, but a deeper, more meaningful freedom from the tyranny of our desires, achievable by mastering them. When we learn to desire less and let go of what we crave, we free ourselves from the chains of need and longing. Unburdened, we become stronger, more attractive, and more magnetic. Imagine a person desiring something so intensely that all their thoughts, actions, and words revolve around that desire. This intensity can actually push people away instead of attracting them. The person appears needy and desperate, which is not appealing. Now imagine the opposite, someone who keeps their desires in check and feels complete without needing anything or anyone. This person is calm, composed, and fulfilled. They don't chase others. They don't try to possess them. They don't become dissatisfied. Instead, they exude a quiet confidence and peaceful assurance that others find irresistibly attractive. They are like a flame that doesn't burn extremely hot, but consistently emits a warm light, attracting others effortlessly. The concept of desire is not just philosophical, we can also see it in the natural world. Take a bird, for example. If you chase it with all your might, it will fly away, frightened. But if you sit back and relax, allowing it to come to you, it may land on your shoulder of its own accord. Similarly, when we relax our intense desires and stop chasing others so fervently, we often find that they are naturally drawn to us, without force or effort. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." When we learn to control our desires and want less, we become truly rich. We become free from the need to control others or possess them. When free from this need, we become more attractive and desirable because we don't need others to feel complete. So, how can we achieve mastery over this desire? How can we accomplish this seemingly contradictory goal of wanting less while simultaneously attracting more? The answer lies in developing strong self-awareness and self-discipline. If you find yourself in a situation where your desire for someone is overwhelming you, take a step back. Reflect on where this intense desire is coming from. Do you believe they will complete you? Are you afraid of being alone? Do you think they are the key to your happiness? Once you understand the source of your desire, you can begin to distance yourself from it. No one can complete you but yourself. Just because you withdraw from a situation doesn't mean you are turning your back on others or becoming indifferent. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This is the essence of Stoic wisdom: to love and care for others without excessive attachment and intense desire that leads to suffering. When you love in this way, you love freely, purely, without the need to possess or control. When you let go of trying to possess and release your desire, you create a space for true connection. You become calm, confident, and peaceful, someone who is not driven by the need to fulfill their desires, someone who is content with who they are. It's this contentment, this freedom from desire, that makes others so attracted to you. The dynamics of human relationships can be influenced by a subtle yet powerful force. There is an invisible thread that pulls people together when they are apart. This is the power of absence, and it is evidence that they only want you when you move away from them. When used wisely, absence can be one of the most powerful tools of the Stoics. It's not about playing games or manipulating others. It's about understanding the natural ebb and flow of relationships and the importance of distance in stimulating desire. When we become too present and too accessible, we risk becoming unnoticed and unappreciated. But when we create distance and step back, we allow others to feel our absence, to miss us, and to desire our presence again. Seneca advised in his letters, "Withdraw into yourself as much as you can. Associate with those who can make a better man of you." This withdrawal is not about isolation. It's about creating the distance to foster your own development and giving others time to reflect on your absence. When you step back, you give others a chance to miss you and appreciate you more when you return. Your absence becomes like fresh air in a stale room, renewing passion and rekindling a spark that has dimmed. Just as fire needs air to burn, relationships need space to thrive. When you are always around and always available, you become like air, necessary but unnoticed. But when you step back, even for a short time, you create a void that others naturally want to fill. This principle applies not only in human relationships, but also in nature. Think of the tides. They come and go, and when they recede, the shore awaits their return. The cyclical nature of the tides keeps the shore in a state of anticipation, readiness, and appreciation. Similarly, when you step back and give some space, you create an opportunity for the other person to fill that void. But how can we harness the power of absence without falling into the trap of manipulation? It all comes down to intention. Absence should not be used as a means to control someone or to elicit a specific reaction. Instead, it should result from a genuine need for your own space, personal growth, and self-reflection. When you step back, it's time you need to focus on yourself, to cultivate inner peace, and to pursue your own interests. When you do this, you not only help yourself, but also allow the relationship to breathe, develop, and evolve. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, advises us to approach our actions, speech, and intentions with the same care as if they were our last. This means we should act with purpose and intention, understanding that every moment is precious. If you choose to step back from a relationship, do so with the intention of healing yourself and the relationship. Use your time apart to reflect, grow, and renew. Another way to utilize the power of absence is to embrace periods of solitude. In a world where solitude is often seen as loneliness, the Stoics valued it as a time for reflection, growth, and self-discovery. When you find peace and satisfaction in being alone, you reconnect with your true self and nurture the inner strength that makes you attractive to others. It's also helpful to focus on what you're passionate about and enjoy. When you're engaged in something meaningful and fulfilling to you, there's naturally a void in your relationships. This void isn't an absence, but a fertile space for growth, reigniting desire, and allowing others to see you in a new light. Consider the importance of boundaries. A Stoic knows how to set boundaries, step back, say no, and create distance. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines for healthy, balanced relationships. When you set boundaries, you show others that you respect your space, value your presence, and that your absence is significant. As Epictetus said, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. When you step back and embrace absence, you're not abandoning the relationship. You're actually nurturing it. You're giving it the space it needs to grow and improve. In this space, others will recognize your true value. They'll want to be around you and will only understand you when you are absent. We often think that we need others, and this belief deceives us. True happiness and fulfillment can be achieved without depending on others. This illusion traps us in dependency and robs us of our inner strength. The Stoics knew that true power comes from self-sufficiency. They understood that our well-being doesn't depend on others, but on ourselves. This brings us to the sixth proof of attracting others when you don't want them, transforming dependency into power. The idea that we need someone else can be tempting. It suggests that we are not enough on our own and that we need someone else to feel complete. But this is a false belief. It weakens us and places our happiness in the hands of others. When we think we need someone else, we become vulnerable, open to manipulation, and easy to control. We begin to believe that our worth depends on their presence, their attention, or their approval. In this state, we fail to see our own power and potential. But what happens when we burst this bubble? What happens when we realize that we don't need anyone else to be complete, happy, and fulfilled? We take back control. We transform dependency into power. We become individuals who are not defined by our relationships, but who define our relationships by the strength of our character, our will, and our inner resilience. The wise Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life." This wisdom teaches that we should live each day and each moment as complete in itself. When we adopt this mindset, regardless of what happens tomorrow or who is around us, we break the chains of attachment. We realize that each day and each moment hold the potential for fulfillment, regardless of who is or isn't in our lives. Think of the oak tree, firmly rooted in the ground, unaffected by the winds of change. It stands tall and strong. It doesn't need the support of other trees. Its strength comes from the depth of its roots and the sturdiness of its trunk. Similarly, when we focus on our strengths and become self-sufficient, we become resilient and unshakable, like the oak tree. So, how can we let go of the idea that we need others? How can we transform dependency into power? The first step is self-awareness. Recognize when you're depending on someone else for your happiness, or when your self-worth hinges on their presence or approval. Take a moment to ask yourself, why do I believe I need this person? What am I trying to gain from this situation? What is the underlying fear I'm grappling with? Asking yourself these questions helps you see that what you're clinging to is an illusion, which dissipates when examined with a clear mind. The next step is to focus on your own development and growth. When we're not pursuing our own goals and passions, we're more likely to become dependent on others. By investing in yourself, learning new skills, following your interests, and challenging yourself, you build a foundation of self-sufficiency. You become someone who is whole on your own, someone who can feel complete without needing someone else. You choose to share your life with others, not out of need, but out of strength. Marcus Aurelius reminds us in the Meditations to look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig. When we do this, we find a source of strength that will always be with us. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy, the idea that true strength and power come from within. When you focus on your own strengths, you become less dependent on others. You become self-sufficient, resilient, and strong. Another way to transform dependency into strength is to practice detachment. This doesn't mean cutting people out of your life or being indifferent to relationships. Rather, it's about adopting a mindset that isn't overly attached to any person or outcome. Detachment allows you to engage in relationships without losing yourself. It prevents you from overvaluing others to the point where they become the sole source of your happiness. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This advice emphasizes the importance of independence and self-sufficiency. When you're content with yourself and don't need others to validate your worth, you're less influenced by what others think. You can live your life according to your own values and principles, without fear of rejection or disapproval. Finally, make time for solitude. In a world where solitude is often seen as loneliness, the Stoics believed that solitude was a valuable time for reflection, growth, and self-discovery. When you find peace and satisfaction in being alone, you begin to see that you don't need anyone else. You realize that you are complete on your own and that you don't need someone else to fill gaps in your life. As you become more independent and self-sufficient, you may notice changes in the dynamics of your relationships. Others may begin to see that they are no longer the center of your world. When you realize that you can be happy and valuable without needing others. When you trust yourself and develop your inner strength, you become a strong, resilient, and confident person who isn't dependent on others. This strength and independence are what others find so attractive. They are drawn to you not because you need them, but precisely because you don't. That's why others are attracted to you, not out of your need for them, but out of your self-sufficiency. If this video has provided you with value, don't forget to show it by pressing the like button. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of new videos, and share this valuable information with your loved ones to touch their lives as well. Remember, true power lies within us, and together we continue to discover it.